So I'm going to talk about different types of stereotypes in the Truth is Beauty system, but also in just essence systems in general. And I don't know all of them. I'm not an expert on any of them. I don't have like one that I subscribe to the most. But the stereotypes I'm kind of thinking are specifically the stereotypes within a type. So like classics don't have to be prim and proper. They can be like you can have some edge in your classic style. It doesn't have to be mean edge. It doesn't have to be edge from somewhere specific, dramatic. It can be edge within the classic essence. That's what I'm talking about, and I think it's true. But also there's other types of stereotypes that I'll address as well a little bit. My name is Alicia Fallon. I'm an artist traveler, and a lot of what I do is social change through cultural art. My artwork focuses on stories of women and Jesus interacting with each other, and how much God loves women. And also I've been doing fashion and rebuilding an ethical and sustainable wardrobe. There's a couple different things that I've been thinking about with stereotypes. Not so much the names that have been associated, the archetypes, although I think that those are very misleading and don't seem super helpful. And that's just my opinion. I'm not an expert or anything. One of them was Southern Belle, and that is something that I like very strongly abhor, I guess. Like the idea of the Southern Belle is just like this awful, awful, awful stereotype, right? If you're American, you know that, the history of it. And being black, I'm like, no thank you. There's elements of like ingenue being retro, or ethereal being Renaissance, and like, or period, or like there's all these things like that. And I think and I am not an expert, so I'm probably like stepping on toes here, but I'm not convinced that you have to fit those things. And a good one that I'm kind of playing around with right now is classic. And there's this idea that like classic is prim and proper and that. And I think there's a couple videos I've seen about, and it might be classic body type, but where the kibby classic. But I think there's ways to do classic lines that are punk, and ways to do classic lines that are different aesthetics. And so the idea that aesthetic is different than your essence, like you can work in line, and like there are associations, like plaid can be gamine, but it can also be classic. And I think this is more of a gamine plaid, but I think there are classic plaids, and like stripes can be gamine, but also they can be classic. And so some of those boundaries of things like that, where like if you dress like a sailor, the French girl sailor, so French and ethereal, the French one looks like sailor anyways, those can be yeah, so I think those kind of stereotypes of like what like who wears what is maybe not quite, it's like natural having dreadlocks. People can be like, oh, you have dreadlocks, you're natural, but I think it is my face lines too. I think there's that type of stereotype where it's like what people see in you and they assume. So those are the three, like the kinds of different types of stereotypes that I'm talking about, but specifically, yeah, so those are the three types of stereotypes. I don't know why my phone has like weird white edges. That's, anyways, hopefully I'm visible, and it's shaking too. I'm sorry about that. But yeah.